Hello everyone, today we will continue our journey to learn programming without coding technology. In this lesson, we will learn about the date and time components. At first, we would like to do some process and calculate the time used in this process. So to do this, we will use the clock component to register the clock before the process, and also we will reuse the same component to register the clock after the process. So we will save the clock in a variable called clock1 like this. Then we can do some processing, like say we would like to sum some numbers, and we will store the sum inside a variable called insum. And using a for loop, we will sum the numbers from 1 to 100,000. Like this, we can type 100,000, and we can add underscore here if we would like to have a readable number. So inside the for loop and using the assignment component, we will update insum to be insum plus t, like this. After that, we can use the clock component again, but this time we will have another variable which will be in clock2, and we will have this step here like this. Now, if we would like to see the time used for this process, we can print in clock2 minus in clock1 as expression. And now we run and we get the time in milliseconds. So if we would like to calculate this time in seconds, at first we would like to be sure about the number of clocks inside the seconds. So we have clocks per second component, and so we will store this in a constant like clocks per second, and we can save this constant in the start of the program if we would like, and then we can print in clock2 minus in clock1 like this, and we divide this by on the number of clocks per second and print this as expression. So we get the time in seconds. Sure, we don't need to repeat the expression in clock2 minus in clock1, and we can have it in one expression and reuse it. Also, we can just delete this step because we don't need it. So this is a simple example about calculating the time. Another way to do this is using the clock function, and we can know about this by looking at the generated source code. We know that we can get the clock using the clock function, and we can know the clocks per second using this function too. So you have different choices. Now let us look at another components and how we can use these components to get the time and the date. So using the time component, we can get the time and store it in a string called ctime, and we can get the date using the date component, and we can print these variables. So let us print ctime at first, and then we print cdate like that, and we can print the date before the time. So run this and we get today date and the current time. Another component that we have is called time list. Using this component, we get a list that contains different informations about the date and the time. So we will store this inside a list called a list, and we can print this list if we would like to see the different items. And by printing this list, starting from here, we get the day name and the month and the date and time and so on. We have different options and many things. So if we would like to print just the day name, we can say print a list of 2, which is the second item in this list, and we run. Sure, we would like to print this as expression, and we get the day name. So this is a nice component. Now let us learn more about the date functions or date components, and I would like to explain how we can do some arithmetic operations on the date. So let us at first have the date inside a variable like this, cdate, that we can print using the print component. And now I would like to use the add days component, and I will add some days to our date. I will add like 10 days, and I will store this in a variable called cdate2. Then I will print cdate2 to see the date after 10 days, and when we run this, we get the date changed from 17 to 27. So this is good. Also, when we look at these components, we see another component called Diffdays, and I would like to know the difference between cdate and cdate2, and I would like to store this in a variable called indef that I can print like this. Now run, I can see that we have -10 as the difference between the two dates. If we change the order to have cdate2 minus cdate and we printed indef again, we get 10. So this is enough for now. We learned about the different components that exist in the date and time domain. Thank you very much and see you in our next lesson. Goodbye.